Hello everyone! We're about a month away from the Legion pre-patch and around 2 months from Legion actually releasing, so I thought it would be a good idea to sit down and do a quick lore refresher on what has happened in the world of Warcraft. There are a whole bunch of new souls that have watched the Warcraft movie and are now finding their way to the lore, which is absolutely amazing, so a quick update could definitely be handy. Now I'm not going to go into full details. If you want those, I make individual videos on that. I've put them in my playlist. If you want to look for subjects like the story of the Lich King or the origin of the Warcraft universe, more details can be found there. Right, with that introduction out of the way, let's talk about what happens in the world of Warcraft.
4 years have passed since the mortal races banded together and stood united against the might of the Burning Legion. Though Azeroth was saved, the tenuous pact between the Horde and the Alliance has all but evaporated. The drums of war thunder once again.
4 years have passed since the battle at Mount Hyjal, where humans, orcs, night elves, tauren, trolls and so much more worked together to save the world from Archimonde and the Burning Legion. The world was united for a while, but now the drums of war rage once again, and the two major factions, Alliance and Horde, are fighting with each other. For the Alliance, we have the humans, mainly located in Stormwind, first led by young Anduin Wrynn, since his father had been kidnapped, but Varian later on returned and took over leadership. The dwarves from Ironforge, led by Magni, the gnomes of Nomenagon, led by Gelben Mekatork, and the Night Elves, led by Tyrande the Whisperwind. For the Horde, we have orcs, with the Warchief Thrall as not only the leader of the orcs, but the leader of the Horde in general. The tauren, led by Cairn Bloodhoof, the Darkspear Trolls, led by Vol'Jin, and the Forsaken, led by Sylvanas Windrunner. In Classic World of Warcraft, the very first one, the story was a little bit all over the place. This was the first time that we got the chance to run around in the Warcraft universe with our own characters going through the adventures. We dealt with major threats like Ragnaros the Firelord and the Black Dragon Varian, both in Blackrock Mountain, the Black Dragon Onyxia in Onyxia's lair, Hakar the Soulflayer, the Blood God of the Gurubashi Trolls, the Old God Kafun in Ahn'Qiraj, and the undead Lich called Kel'Thuzad in the floating citadel of Naxxramas. While trying to save the world, the Warcraft part was definitely not forgotten. It played a massive role as Alliance and Horde kept going at each other, kept fighting their wars, while also trying to preserve the world as a whole.
Imprisoned for 10,000 years. Banished from my own homeland. And now you dare enter my realm. You are not prepared.
With the Burning Crusade, the Dark Portal opened up and we got the party on the planet called Outlands, formerly known as Draenor, homeworld of the Orcs. The Draenei have crash landed on Azeroth, they joined the Alliance, whereas the Blood Elves, formerly High Elves, they've joined the Horde. In Outlands, we encountered the Betrayer called Illidan Stormrage and his two main allies, Lady Vashj and Kael'thas Sunstrider. Illidan had been fighting hard against the Legion by working on his plans and schemes, train elite troops in the form of demon hunters, but to the outside world, it didn't seem like that. We teamed up with the Naaru Adal and we took on any threat that Outland had to offer. Gruul the Dragon Killer, the imprisoned Pit Lord McFerrin, Lady Vashj, Kael'thas, Illidan, all of them fell down to Azeroth's might, and not even Kil'jaeden the Deceiver himself was able to conquer the planet. When Illidan was eventually defeated, the Warden Maiev took his body and she imprisoned him together with his demon hunters within the vault of the Wardens. Illidan had become so demonic that, like other demons, he can only truly be killed within the Twisting Nether. That means that we haven't seen the last of Illidan Stormrage just yet. At some point, he will make a return.
You are not prepared!
Like I mentioned, Outland used to be called Draenor, and it was the homeworld of the Orcs before they invaded Azeroth. Thrall and his people were able to see what happened to their home planet, and there, the Warchief of the Horde, he found the son of Gromar's Hellscream, called Garrosh. Thrall informed the young orc about the heroic deeds of his father, and he took him under his wing.
My son, the day you were born, the very forests of Lordaeron whispered the name Arthas.
Arthas the Lich King is done reflecting on his life, and he's ready to purge the world of the living, kicking off the expansion Wrath of the Lich King. The Death Knights, formerly slaves to Arthas' will, they've been able to break free, and they now stand against their former master, and they team up with either the Alliance or the Horde. These troops travel to Northrend to battle with the Scourge, while also dealing with the old god Yogg-Saron in Ulduar, and the Blue Dragon Malygos, who believed that mortals were abusing magic and had to be taken care of. Tyrion Fordring and the Ashbringer, within Icecrown Citadel, they were able to shatter Frostmourne. Arthas saw only darkness before him, but there must always be a Lich King. It was Bolvar Fordragon who stepped up to the plate, and he took the job as jailer of the damned.
Tell them only that the Lich King is dead, and that Bolvar Fordragon died with him. Now, go. Leave this place and never return. Pain. Agony. My hatred burns through the cavernous deeps.
The Cataclysm shook the world of Azeroth to its core, and the Black Dragon Deathwing will try to do everything in his power to herald in the Hour of Twilight, the moment where the old gods will break out of their prisons and rule the world once more. Just before the Cataclysm happened, some important events in both factions took place. A couple of changes happened. On the Horde side, we have Thrall, who felt something was off with the world, and he wanted to find out what was going on. For this, he traveled back to Outland, to his ancestral lands, and go on a spirit journey, but just before he left, he decided to appoint Garrosh as temporary leader of the Horde. This orc had become a hero in the eyes of their people for his actions in Northrend, and Thrall believed that with the right guidance, Garrosh could become a great leader, despite the orc himself saying that he wasn't ready. Cairn Bloodhoof, leader of the Tauren, told Thrall that appointing Garrosh at this point as Warchief was a very bad idea. There might be potential in the young orc, but he wasn't quite ready, yet Thrall didn't listen and he left the Horde behind. A little while later, a peaceful meeting between Night Elves and Tauren was attacked by orcs, and people believed that Garrosh was behind this attack. Even Cairn himself believed so, but Garrosh knew nothing about this. Even so, Cairn challenged Garrosh to Mak'gora, and Garrosh accepted the challenge all the same.
Garrosh, you are not fit to rule the Horde.
Treachery was waiting around the corner as Megafa Grimtotem secretly placed poison on Gorhal, having Garrosh take care of Cairn. The old Tauren was actually winning the fight against the younger orc, until one strike of the axe, the poison doing its work, and he who had lived with honor died betrayed. Megafa was eventually exiled for her crimes, with Cairn's son Bane stepping up in the role of leader. Now on the Alliance side, we have King Magni Bronzebeard of the Dwarves that also wanted to figure out what was going on with the world, and he used an ancient Titan ritual to communicate with the land. Instead of just communicating, Magni literally became part of the land, trapped in a crystal body, which opened the way for his daughter Moira to come back and claim her title of leader. This didn't go down too well with the other clans though, and in the end, they decided to form a council of 3 hammers. All 3 dwarven clans, Bronzebeard, Dark Iron and Wildhammer, all of them represented by a leader and working together. On the side of the Night Elves, Malfurian Stormrage had woken up out of the Emerald Dream, and he joined his beloved at her side, leading their people together. On top of that, we also had 2 new races that were added to the game. We got the Goblins of Khazan joining the Horde, and the humans of Gilneas, infected with the Worgen curse, who joined the Alliance. Varian Rin was appointed as High King of the Alliance, fulfilling a similar role as the Warchief did for the Horde, as in leader of all the different factions. Quite a few changes when it comes to the Horde Alliance dynamic. Now the major threat of this expansion was Deathwing, working for the old gods, trying to set them free, so we had to make sure to stop him. Together with the dragon aspects and a bit of time travel, Thrall, now calling himself by his true name, Goel, saved the world and prevented the Hour of Twilight from ever happening. With the defeat of Deathwing, the aspects did fulfill their destiny, and they've lost a significant portion of the power, as well as the immortality and the ability to reproduce.
Today's victory belongs to all who stood against the shadow. You are Azeroth's true guardians, and the future of this world is in your hands. For the dawning of the Age of Mortals has begun.
The dawning of the Age of Mortals is upon us, and Garrosh is more than ready to take full advantage of that. He's done with letting his people rot away in the desert. It's time to conquer the world, and his first target is Theramore. A mana bomb is dropped upon the city, killing a whole bunch of Alliance troops and royally pissing off Jaina Proudmoore, who up to this point had tried to work towards peace between the Alliance and the Horde. Some of the Horde cheered for their Warchief and his actions, but a fair few of them, like Bane and Vol'Jin, they watched with tears and disgust. They did not agree with Garrosh's dishonorable methods, but their attention was drawn to new matters, since the mist around a land called Pandaria disappeared.
For my kind, the true question is, what is worth fighting for?
The Pandaren from the Wandering Isle came in contact with members of the Alliance and the Horde, and they embraced their adventurous nature by joining one of the factions. The land of Pandaria is discovered by accident, whereas the Alliance is sent in to save the prince and win Rin, the Horde is sent in to paint the continent red. Pandaria is special in the way that it was hidden away from the world behind the mists, but it was also infected with the Sha, a dark force left behind when the old god Y'Shaarj was ripped out of the planet by the Titans. This Sha feeds on negative energy, and while the people of Pandaria they've learned to control their emotions, we provide the Sha with a banquet to feed upon. This resulted in a whole bunch of conflict, so we went around cleaning up the mess that we made, we helped out the Pandaran people, and we took care of an ancient tyrant called Lei Shen, the Thunder King. Those were the Pandaren storylines, and then it shifted back to the Alliance Horde conflict. The bombing of Theramore was just the beginning of Garrosh's campaign, and he goes about not only pissing off the Alliance, but also his own faction. It came to a boiling point when he had his troops slice Vol'Jin's throat, leading to an all-out rebellion. The Siege of Orgrimmar eventually took place, Horde and Alliance banding together to take down Garrosh and his so-called true Horde, but when the Warchief was finally on his knees, the killing blow was stopped, and instead they decided to place him on trial.
You disappoint me, Garrosh. You are not worthy of your father's legacy.
His punishment is not for you alone to decide.
I won't let you take him.
We have all suffered from his atrocities. My people, more than any other. Let him stand trial in Pandaria. There, we will mete out justice for all.
With Garrosh out of the picture, the Horde was in need of a new Warchief, and although Thrall did show up to clean up the mess that he had left behind, he wasn't ready to return as the leader, so instead it was Vol'Jin. Vol'Jin, who had led the rebellion and kept the people together, who was appointed to be the Warchief.
I speak for the Horde.
Now as all of this went on, we had the uncorrupted Black Dragon called Wrathion warning the world of a vision that he had. He has seen the return of the Legion, and he tried to manipulate events, tried to resolve the Alliance and Horde conflict to his image, but eventually he failed. Not to worry though, Wrathion is a true Black Dragon full of brilliant plans and ideas, and he decides that Azeroth is in need of more troops, more allies to stand against the Legion. For this, he teams up with the Bronze Dragon called Kairos Dormu, and together they break Garrosh out of jail, they send him to an alternate reality, set around 35 years in the past, to form the Horde and have that Horde help us out. Surprisingly, Garrosh doesn't want to be used by anyone, so he chokes the life out of Kairos, and he goes about to form the Iron Horde, not to team up with Azeroth, not to fight against the Legion, but to get him his revenge.
This was not our destiny. Times change. Never be slaves!
The Dark Portal turned red, and the Iron Horde tried to conquer the planet of Azeroth, just as the original Horde had tried to do in the past. Azeroth had learned though, it's been molded and forged in the fires of war, and the Iron Horde is quickly pushed back. We go after them, we actually go through the red portal, since we can't allow this Iron Horde to regroup and strike back even harder. And on top of that, Garrosh has some justice waiting for him. Where the Alliance teams up with the Draenei, the Horde teams up with the Orcs of the Frostwolf clan. Both of them work together on bringing down the Warlords of Draenor, as well as taking care of their escaped prisoner.
You chose your own destiny.
The Orcish warlock Gul'Dan sees the opportunity and he takes it. As the Iron Horde is dismantled, he offers the Orc demon blood once again. And this time, there is no Garrosh to tell them to refuse. This time, they accept the offer, and like the orcs in our universe, these orcs sell themselves to slavery, as well as embrace the power of the Legion. Archimonde himself is summoned to the world, yet not even he is able to bring us down, and...
Draenor is free!
You don't think it's over?
Gul'Dan and the devils that command him are not so easily banished. I fear this is only beginning.
Khadgar was right, of course. The vision Wrathion had had during Mr. Pandaria, the time had come for the Legion to once again try and invade Azeroth. Gul'Dan of alternate Draenor was sent by Archimonde to our Azeroth and kick off the Legion invasion at the tomb of Sargeras.
My son, a terrible darkness has returned to our world. As before, it seeks to annihilate everything that we hold dear. I go to face it, knowing I may not return.
They're coming! They're coming back!
All my life I have lived by the sword. I've seen kingdoms burn, and watched brave heroes die in vain. It's been difficult for me to trust after losing so much. But from you, I have learned patience, tolerance, and faith. Open fire! Anduin, I now believe, as you do, that peace is the noblest aspiration. But to preserve it, you must be willing to fight. For Azeroth!
And that brings us to the present day and age, with the expansion Legion almost upon us. Now, I've done a couple of videos talking about the story as we discovered it during the alpha and the beta, but once the game is actually live, I'll once again go through all the zones, all the artifact quests, all the Order Hall campaigns to bring you the story. By that time, all the voice acting should be present, all the cinematics should be available, and we'll see what the future is going to bring. For now, I'm going to end this video. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. I really hope that you're up to date as to what exactly happened in the expansions. Like I said, this is a very brief overview. If you want more details, check out the videos related. As always, subscribe if you like my videos, leave a like if you enjoyed this one, and until next time, guys, see ya!